Good morning, iExplore people. Welcome to week 6 of your distance learning experience. Last week, we did not ask that much of you. This week, it's going to be a little different. You're probably going to have to give iExplore a little more time than you did last week. So that being said and done, let's go ahead and pull up the Stephen King resume. I'm going to pull this up now. You should probably go ahead and pull up your own resume. I would hit pause if I were you and go ahead and pull up that resume for me. All right, so last week we asked you to do two things. We asked you to put the contact information in for your person, which Stephen King's is right there. And we asked you to go ahead and finish or begin and finish the educational section of your resume. That was pretty easy for most of you. The next section that you are going to do this week is the experience section of the resume. The experience section of a resume will tell a prospective employer what you've done and what you're capable of doing. All right, so if I'm sitting here and looking at the experience section of Stephen King's resume, I went from education to experience with a nice double space. I went ahead and put the word experience in a nice 14-point bold font. And then when I popped down to his actual experience, I went ahead and went back down to a 12-point font. All right. So Stephen King's current job is that of a writer for Scribner Publishing. He has been working there, and I had to make some assumptions here, which you'll probably have to also. He's been working there from January 1998 to the present. So he's been there for a good 22 years. As you go through this section, please follow the format. It shouldn't be that hard for you to do. All right. So there's the date that he's been employed with his current employer. There's his position. There's the name of the company and the last 3 books that he's written for Scribner Publishing. All right. Again, I had to make some assumptions here. I'm assuming that it would take at least a year to write a good novel. Probably a little bit longer, but we can go ahead and go with that assumption. All right. So I have his Scribner Publishing experience listed there. I have some nice bullet points with his responsibilities, what he actually accomplished there. And then I jump down with a double space to the job that he had before Scribner Publishing. And again, follow the format. These are the dates that he worked for his last employer. His job was that as a writer. There's the name of the company, bullet points detailing what he actually did for that company. And as you can see, I have 2 more jobs listed there. All right. Now, you might want to look at this last job that I have listed. Why is it important for me to put the fact that he was an English teacher back in 1971? You never know. It kind of added depth for me to see that Stephen King actually worked as an English teacher. He actually was in the classroom. I thought that was interesting, and chances are an interviewer will also find it interesting. It may be entirely possible the entire interview may even circle around that because you never know. I know my first job in teaching, I went in for an interview at the Colony High School, and we ended up spending an hour and a half talking about college football. That's all we talked about. So that was almost like a free pass for the interview just because I had something on my resume detailing that I was involved with something at North Texas State University, which is now the University of North Texas. So you might want to keep that in mind. It may make your interview much easier. All right. The next section that you'll have to finish will be the accomplishments and awards section. All right. Again, a nice double space between sections, 14-point font, bold, double space. I listed Stephen King's last 5 accomplishments and awards. It's real possible that your person is not as accomplished as Stephen King is. That's okay. If you only have 2 or 3, that's fine. Again, let me make this point because I didn't just make this point in experience. Everything should be in reverse chronological order from most recent to least recent. If you do this wrong, you're going to have English teacher at the top. You're going to have his current job at the bottom. That's wrong. Don't do that. Reverse chronological order. All right? I noticed some people didn't do that. Please make sure you do that. Please make sure that you follow my format. This should be real easy for you to take my stuff out, put your stuff in, and then you're done. All right? Easy enough. Same thing with accomplishments and awards. Reverse chronological order. I noticed that some of my Adam Sandler people did not do a very good job on their slideshow with accomplishments and awards. They listed 2 or 3 things. They did not even mention all of his nominations for his current film. Make sure you find current stuff or most important. Obviously, if you're an actor or an actress, the greatest thing that you can get would be an Academy Award nomination or possibly winning the Academy Award or an Oscar. Please make sure those most important things are there. Or perhaps you've chosen an entertainer or a singer. If they won a Grammy, you want that on the resume. That is the highest award that you can get in those 2 fields. All right? This should be really easy for you guys. Do a good job. Let's knock this out so we can move on to our next unit. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your iExplore teacher. I'm sure we're going to be more than willing to answer your questions. Once you have this done, submit it in Schoology to the appropriate link. And again, it's easier to get this stuff done at the beginning of the week instead of waiting until the end of the week. All right? Hope everybody is well, and we will see you soon.